affected by that, or that will be affected by it, or that is starting to see the effects of whether it's premenopause or pre-andropause, andropause or menopause. Many of you may wonder, what's andropause? Well, it's what men go through, similar to what us women go through, at a particular point in life. There are hormonal changes that happen, and they may, for some people, happen sooner, and for others, they may happen later, but they happen. And how we experience premenopause or menopause or pre-andropause and andropause, well, it depends on a lot of things. And those are the things that I'd like to talk to you about today, so that we can help recover our bodies and our hormones, so that we can sail through these phases of our life feeling young, feeling vibrant, feeling like time hasn't really passed us by.
I'm looking at all these graphics to try to explain what these situations are.
Whatever, funny.
And same with the women here. So how would you describe some of this biological stage in the human body?
Right. Well, from the moment that we're born, we begin to be exposed to a variety of different things. Germs, for one, a different nutrition or diet, depending on where we are and how our family eats. We have a particular type of diet. Some people have diets rich in fiber and fruits and vegetables, and other in high quality nutrients, and other folks tend to have diets high in carbs and fats and processed foods. So ask yourself, where are you on that continuum? Where are you on the spectrum of eating healthy? Because what you put into your body is ultimately going to catch up with all of us and have an influence on how our organs and our glands are functioning. And ultimately, these organs and glands team up, work together, and influence our hormone production, our enzyme production. And that ultimately can influence how we experience menopause or andropause, and whether we go into it early or later. Another factor that comes to play are heavy metals. Now, how are we exposed to heavy metals? Well, we can be exposed to heavy metals through pesticides, if we work with construction materials, if we work with chemicals, if we work in a hair salon or a beauty salon, if we take a lot of antacids, if we have been, received a variety of vaccinations, because all vaccines also have heavy metals. And so all of these things, or if we have silver fillings, which really have mercury, and we haven't removed those, these metals affect our pancreas. And the pancreas is a gland. It's like a mother gland. And this mother gland affects our thyroid, affects all these glands that are in our brain, like our pituitary gland, which also regulates a lot of our reproductive area, and also our adrenal glands. And so when one gland is affected, it works in collaboration with the rest of the glands, affecting the entire endocrine system. The endocrine system is what, really triggers hormone production. And feeling happy, feeling excited, feeling, having vitality, or lacking vitality, a low libido, feeling tired, feeling depressed or anxious. All of these things happen and are influenced through the endocrine system. And so heavy metals play an important role. So we have to ask ourselves, how many antacids have we had over the course of our lifetime? Have we ever done a heavy metal cleanse? Have we even identified if we have heavy metals in our body? Now, some tests are very expensive to be able to identify heavy metals, like forensic testing, where they get hair samples and urine samples and saliva samples to really be able to understand what's going on in our body, what deficiencies we have, what toxicities we have, what germs are floating around in our body. But there are other much simpler ways. I get to do that through the work in biomagnetism, and there are other ways to identify these things as well. And when we know what's in our body, then we can work on getting rid of them. But if we don't know, it's kind of hard to fight something that's invisible. We just think, oh, it's age, and I'm stuck with it. And it's not like that. It doesn't have to be like that. We don't have to age and feel old, right? Mm-hmm. Didn't you agree?
Well, some of these, of course, I can totally coincide with it, with these feelings of losing, this fatigue and loss of energy. But one thing I do recall right now that it's a specific symptom in menopause is the temperature. Ladies start feeling this rise in their body temperature, and suddenly, and then also the loss of sleep. That's another symptom of menopause. So can you, like you say, can you sail that? Can you slide through this situation? This what is considered to be unavoidable? Is it possible?
I would say yes. So I was going through the hot flashes, and I started taking some really amazing enzymes called vertizymes. And through those enzymes and through biomagnetic sessions, I was able to help support my adrenal glands and also help support some shifts and boost the health in my pancreas. The pancreas produces, enzymes. And the pancreas works and teams up with our adrenal glands. The adrenal glands really manage body temperature to a high degree. The kidneys do as well. So the other thing we have to ask ourselves is, how are we hydrating? How much are we putting into our body that's acidic? Because acidic foods can raise our body temperature, right? Acid being things high in sugar, whether it's diet sodas or sodas, whether it's drinks with a lot of sugar, like coffee with a lot of sugar. How are we hydrating? Are we putting in, good water that really helps hydrate us, like coconut water or lemon water? And are we helping our kidneys maintain the temperature of our body lower so that we're not filling the body with heat and acidity in which the body can't regulate so well, and women are, overheating, and men are too, right? There's plenty of men that I've met that sweat all the time. They can do just a little bit of activity and they're sweating bullets. And so there's something going on with the adrenal gland that we can then, through biomagnetism, help regulate rather quickly. And then through some really great enzymes, we can help support the endocrine system so that not only are we not feeling overheated at any given point in time, like an oven, because it's terrible. You might be cool on the outside, but on the inside you feel like, it's 120 degrees out. And then the other is certainly to be able to sleep. I mean, if you're overheating at night, chances are you're not getting a lot of sleep because it's just miserable. You could put the AC down a lot and your body is still feeling very hot. And so biomagnetism has been wonderful in terms of helping the endocrine system regulate, clean up, remove germs, remove the toxins, and also help it to function at its, ideal capacity.
So is it the same for everybody when it comes to applying the pair of magnets, the positive and the negative? Do they usually go in the same spots, or you have to do an inquiry like you always do? Ask the body.
You always have to ask the body, because, and what do I mean by asking the body? For those of you that are not familiar with biomagnetism, so biomagnetism refers to the magnetic property of our cells. In other words, our cells are fractional magnets filled with electricity, protons, neutrons, and electrons. That is the basis of what makes us up, right? And so everything that we have are really made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons, positive, negative, and neutral charges. So when we apply magnets therapeutically, let's say to our pituitary gland, which we can work in biomagnetism through here, then we can also have an effect on our reproductive organs. There's a point in the back of our head, the atlas, and that helps to boost libido for anyone interested. And of course, there's so many different parts of our body, but what's important to understand is that we we need to understand what is going on with the whole in order to be able to really correct things. Because if we just say, okay, I want to, regulate my periods, my menstruation. I don't want to have heavy periods, or I don't want to have long periods or irregular periods. Working just on the pituitary gland may not be enough. There may be stuff going on in the ovaries or in the uterus or in other parts of our body that are influencing our flow and our timing as women, our cycles. But men have cycles too. We don't talk too much about those cycles, but men have them too. And so what we apply to women, we also apply to men, so that men are also functioning and feeling with a lot of vitality and not feeling like they're aging and not going through anxious moments or getting upset or feeling tired, and able to continue, despite our age progressing, to still feel young and feel full of energy and focus. And sometimes people will say, well, I think my memory loss is due to my menopause. I would dare to say no. There's other things at play that are influencing our memory. And yes, it may be found in the endocrine system, but there may be things that we can remove so that we're not going through that memory loss. But that's a great question.
You answered part of my next question, but it has to do with the loss of, or I don't know, mutation of hormones. In this case, testosterone. They say that men, start losing testosterone. So is it really a loss, or is it really, or is it something else? Can you stabilize the production of hormones, or even increase with biomagnetism?
Yes, and I would say not with biomagnetism alone. I would say that while we can remove the things that are disrupting or slowing down our glands that produce hormones. So in other words, as time goes by and a person is exposed to germs that influence the function of an organ or a gland, then that gland begins, or that organ begins to slow down. In other words, let's say, for example, the liver. Okay, let's say I eat a lot of fat foods and I take a lot of painkillers. Chances are, or I eat high protein diets like a keto, then chances are that putting in all that protein and all that fat into my liver, it's going to get clogged. And when the liver gets clogged, it puts pressure on other parts of the body to pick up the slack, because that liver, which is a filter, is not filtering blood correctly. And so it puts pressure on other organs to then take up some of that work. One of those organs is the pancreas. And so if the pancreas is now stressed out because the liver is slow and not functioning correctly, then the pancreas can then be affected. And then it's a ripple effect, because the pancreas affects the thyroid. I've seen many people who do the keto diet and then end up with some kind of diagnosis in their thyroid. And people don't realize that, wow, you're trying to lose weight, but in reality, you're ruining your liver. And that's going to have an effect on your thyroid, which will then affect your weight in the long run. And so, and you're feeling tired and feeling, so sometimes it's not even hormonal. Sometimes we get to 40 or we get to 50, and what's affecting us is not hormonal. We may say, oh, it's my age, I'm going through menopause, I'm going through premenopause, but it could be that maybe it's just the liver is all fatty and it's got all these germs in there that we're not even aware, because we've, whether it's diets or whether it's painkillers or other medications, we've clogged that filter. And so what we really need to do is clean the filters in our body, like the kidneys and the liver, so then the other organs can do their job without feeling stressed, right?
I always wonder, have you ever thought of what happens with all those pills that we usually take, but some people can have, 20, 30 pills depending on their prescriptions. What happens to all those, what is it made of? I know it dissolves.
The gel capsules?
The gel capsules,
which are made out of petroleum, really, most of them, unless they're vegan. Yeah, it's petroleum.
Petroleum?
Mm-hmm.
Plastic?
It's, I think it's I don't know if it's the Rockefellers or the Rothschilds. that first established that company, and made a bundle in the medical industry through those capsules.
So wouldn't it be better to just open them and serve the contents in water?
Probably yes. Yeah, the thing is that anything foreign, anything that's chemical, the liver doesn't register it as nutrition. Even diet drinks or fake sugars, those coffee creamers, the liver says, what is this? Or like low fat food or processed food, the liver is like, what, this isn't food. So just because we can eat it doesn't mean that our body is made to process that. And so what it does is that it starts to clog the filter, and it slows down its function. And when the liver is clogged, we feel tired, we have body aches, we can't sleep, we have anxiety, we get moody. It affects our skin coloring. It can lead to like brown spots. And then that liver that's not functioning affects other parts of the body. And so really, are we going through menopause, premenopause? Sometimes it may be part of the whole. And that's why I love alternative medicine and ancient medicine, because in these methods, we look at the whole, we don't look at the part. We're not just looking at, let's give you some hormones to help regulate what's going on with your premenopause or your menopause. No, we look at the whole, because the body has the capacity to help itself and to regulate and to be healthy. We just have to understand what caused it to dysfunction or what caused it to wear down, so that we can get it back to healthy. I'm not lying. I mean, I'm right around the corner from 50 this year, and I feel I have the energy that I had when I was 17. I start my workday very early. Oftentimes I finish very late, and I'm just ready to go the next day. So between these methods, and also with some really good herbs and adaptogens and good nutrition, I don't feel 50. I don't feel tired. And so it's not just me. I've seen it happen, client after client, how they begin to feel lighter, fuller, with energy, happier, and digressing in age instead of getting older, reversing the signs of aging.
Can you expand on adaptogens?
Yeah.
What are those?
So there are 50 herbs or spices that are known or recognized within the adaptogen category. And basically like ashwagandha, and there's a whole bunch of them. And what these herbs do is that they help the body regulate. In other words, let's say somebody has high blood pressure and somebody else has low blood pressure. Adaptogens will help get the blood pressure to normal. If somebody has high cholesterol and somebody else has low cholesterol, the same thing will happen. Those adaptogens will help the body regulate so that the cholesterol levels go to normal. If someone has insomnia or if someone is oversleeping, then the adaptogens will help so that the body is having a normal, healthy sleep cycle. The same happens with stress and depression. They help us manage stress better, so that even if we're going through a very stressful period, we can cruise through it like smooth sailing. So adaptogens are wonderful, especially when they're high grade and absorbable. Just like there's really good stuff on the market, there's also 10 times more stuff that's not good, that our body cannot absorb. So one of the things I love to do is teach kinesiology, which actually I have a class coming up in June. In kinesiology, you can identify your body through signals like reflexes, that it becomes a language that your body gives you and that you can tune into to identify, are these supplements going to be good for me? Are they actually going to be dangerous for me or damaging to me? How good are they going to be for me? Should I stay away from salmon? Should I eat fish? Will my body benefit from eating chicken? Would my body benefit from going vegetarian or vegan? All of these things that we oftentimes hear our friends say, hey, I'm doing this and I feel great. And people will say, oh, I'm going to do it too. But it doesn't work the same because every physical body is different.
So it's almost like turning your body into a pendulum where you can find your yes and your no. Is it?
Exactly. Your body becomes and gives you signals. It's tuning into your cellular information that knows everything about you, or your deep intuition that knows everything that's good for you and everything that's not good for you, or even to the degree when we learn to ask these questions. So it's like a 3-hour class where you really learn to tune into the wisdom within. And in that, you then can use it and apply it for everything. I obviously use it for my practice. I mean, I find germs and toxins in people's body using kinesiology. And it's wonderful. When you learn how to ask these questions and you gain confidence in the information that your body is giving you, then as you're developing your intuition, you already have information that you could visibly see that can guide you in terms of what's going to be the right thing for you, what class is going to be good for you. I use it when I travel. I use it to pick restaurants, So anyhow, it's fun.
I can think of many other uses.
Yes, there's tons.
So a question people may be asking themselves is, how can I reach you and how can I get treated by you? Is it possible to get a treatment remotely, on distance?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Kike, because I think that as the world has changed and people have become more recluse, right? I mean, they're letting us out now, but I mean, a lot of people have been at home. A lot of people still feel like they don't feel safe coming out. And one of the things that we can do as alternative medicine practitioners is do remote work, because energy travels. And just like we're particles of energy, just because we can't see it in the air, it's floating. And I'd like to give this example. Imagine right now you and I are communicating through a computer. There are no wires directly connected between your computer, and my computer. There's a tower, some kind of, tower somewhere that also doesn't have any wires connected between your computer and my computer. And yet it's communicating simultaneously, real time, right?
Yes.
We created that technology. If we have the intelligence and the capacity to create that kind of technology where we can communicate with each other at a distance without wires and cables, how is it that we don't believe that we can communicate between each other at a distance? We are far more intelligent beings. And we have so much more capacity than we even recognize. So I invite you to open up the window of your imagination, and this is where we can really defy gravity. I had a case not too long ago. I had a gentleman in another country, and one of his relatives, who's a doctor and who also studied biomagnetism but doesn't practice too often, had asked me, can you treat my relative because he has pancreatic cancer. And so when I did the session, within a couple hours, I got a text back from him telling me that his uncle, who had been bedbound for 7 days, hadn't eaten anything, was depressed, was in severe pain. Pancreatic cancer is very painful. Within 2 hours of the session, he had gotten out of bed, he had taken a shower, he had gotten dressed, he got in his car, he drove to his friend's house, had lunch, and smoked a cigarette to boot. I love that story. This is real time
and went
impact.
Partying. Went on
I've done a few more sessions on the gentleman, and he's eating well, he's feeling good, we're talking about pancreatic cancer, we're not talking about acne, right? And yet people can receive the benefits of a treatment whether they're in front of me or far away. And it's not just me. I mean, we have the capacity to do this. I love teaching these techniques. Actually, at the end of June, I'll be teaching a biomagnetism class, because as people become more concerned about their health, right? We have the capacity to have the tools with these little guys to change our life. And I mean change our life. These are magnets. This is the positive polarity side, the negative polarity side. And when you use magnets, you can alter your biochemistry and change and shift your health. Your body releases toxins and germs that make you sick, and toxic emotions and even behaviors. I've had people who, after a few sessions, no longer have cravings, and these could be people with addictions, long-term addictions. I've had people who have thyroid issues, and after their sessions, and with some really good adaptogens, no longer need thyroid medication. I've had people recover from cancers, from leukemia, from lupus, from Lyme, from fibromyalgia, and be able to understand what caused the fibromyalgia. Not just whatever they're getting in terms of, we think you have fibromyalgia because you check off the boxes. No, we can go into and know, were there parasites, were there viruses, which ones were they, are there heavy metals in the body, are there toxins, other kinds, are there bacteria, all working together to create this fibromyalgia. And, I see a lot of people who are at menopause age who are having a lot of body pain. And so when we can understand what brought our health to decay, we can then recover our health. And these little tiny magnets can help us feel great at 40, at 50, at 60, at 70, or later. I've seen many people who, like you said, carry around a lot of pills, take a lot of supplements, many of them not beneficial to their body, and feel worse and worse and worse. Well, of course, how many chemicals are we putting into our liver? We're overtaxing our system. Sometimes we think more is better. More is not better. Good is better. But to know what is good for us, that's where I say, doing some kinesiology, because you can then know what's going to be good for you.
How is a regular day for you? How many clients are you able to see?
I try not to do more than 10. And my sessions are 90 minutes. And so 10 sessions is a very long day.
How many, as much as how many magnets have you used in a single person?
Let's just say a lot. Sometimes the person could feel like they're covered in magnets, and
like a mummy, but with magnets.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that germs have behaviors. They hide, they move around, and if we really want to get them out of the body, then we have to kind of, figure out the puzzle of where they're moving to, so that we can shift them out of the body. And parasites are like that. Some viruses are like that. So they're tricky. And when people have had chemotherapy or radiation therapy, then they develop very resistant germs. These are the guys that were able to go through World War II bombs, basically. And now they can live in a environment with radiation. So they become like cockroaches, very resistant. So it takes a little bit more work to reduce the radiation and the acidity in that body to then be able to get those germs out. But anyways, we're getting off topic.
Well, before we go, I have to ask you this, because there's this hundreds and thousands of videos going around viral, talk about viral, with people having had, the shot, the vaccine, and they have a magnet that sticks to the point, to exactly where it was put. What's your take on that? I
am going to test it out today.
Really?
Today. Yeah, I have somebody who was vaccinated, so I'm going to test it out. So I'll let you know in the next show.
Let me know how big of a magnet can they can it hold? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of scary
Because we don't know that when you use magnets, in order for them to stick. I mean, if you're standing, of course, it's different if you're laying down. But if you're standing, you need to have something to support it. You need the positive and the negative, stock, so it won't fall.
So let's say.
So they won't fall.
If I'm going to put this here, let's say, then I can put one on top.
That's what we're talking about. So in this case, just by sticking one polarity, let me know which one is it.
If it's the negative or the positive?
Exactly.
I'll let you know. I'll see if it can do both. Maybe it has both. I mean, at the end of the day, they probably have both. But it's a little scary to know what's going on.
That there needs to be a level of metal in order to hold something like that?
Yeah, well, we're talking about when we look at vaccines historically in terms of the ingredients that they have. Oftentimes you'll find aluminum. Oftentimes you'll find mercury, and maybe some other things. So vaccines have heavy metals, and they affect our pancreas, and they affect our glands, and they affect our menopause and andropause.
Okay, and my last question. Those magnets that you have in your hands are able to get rid of some of these heavy metals inside the body?
Yes. When you change the environment of the body, the body cannot support things that intoxicate it. And so whether it's your emotions or ways of thinking, behaviors, chemicals, metals, and germs, the body in its healthy state flushes these out. They cannot be supported. It's beautiful. It's the most simple medicine in the world. I absolutely am in love with biomagnetism.
We can tell. So, Gaia, good to have you here again. Gaia is also president of the International Association of Alternative and Ancient Medicine. Any updates on what's going on with the association?
Yes, we have a series. We're rolling out series of classes. Several of our professors are going to be rolling out classes on a variety of topics on all things alternative and ancient medicine, whether it's, I think the first one is going to be on holistic anatomy. Then we have other classes on chakras. We have classes on chakras in the health. We have classes on mascot therapy, how to use magnets for mascots, for the emotional health of your mascots. We have classes coming up from the ancients in Mexico on how to generate energy and also how to protect yourself. And we have quite a bit of classes coming up. So it's very exciting, and all of our professors, are donating a part of the proceeds of those classes to support the association and its mission, which is to expand this information on alternative and ancient medicine practices throughout the world, so that one day every home knows that they have a choice to their health, and they can go the traditional route, but that they also are familiar with other practices that look at the whole being, and that use natural remedies, that use the body's own wisdom to recover its health. We're waiting on a class from you too, Kike.
I'm trying to get my stuff together so I can be able to provide at least some basics on these practices that we have on video production, and gladly I'll do it. Gaia, everything you can learn here by visiting this page, iam.net. You'll find out all the activities that involve this.
And certainly for for those of you who may be listening who are expert in a particular field of alternative or ancient medicine, we certainly invite you to join us. If you're interested in learning and studying, we invite you to join the association as a member, and also to think about sharing this message, sharing your message and your expertise via the I Am channel, so that you can host your own show and have a weekly program where you're sharing your wisdom with the world so that more people can benefit from what you have to offer. We certainly invite folks who want to study, folks who want to share and teach, and folks who want to share their practice to grow their work and help more people reach them. Thank you, Kike, and thank you all. We look forward to being on the show again.
And remember, you don't need to be in the same place as Gaia. You can just contact her, and she'll be able to diagnose and find any of those points where you need help, and she can do it any place in the world. Remind us your phone, even though we have it on the description. Do you wanna say?
Well, I would say if you visit my website at themagnetlady.net, you can reach me through there. You can also share your email on the website, and then I can reach you. And any questions that you may have, or if you want to schedule an appointment or join a class, that's probably the best way to reach me. You can also follow me on my social media pages, whether it's through Instagram, The Magnet Lady with 2 Y's at the end, or via Clubhouse. We have a weekly program on Clubhouse, and through Facebook, The Magnet Lady as well. And I look forward to answering any questions that you may have.
Perfect. So that's going to be it for now. If you joined late, make sure you tune in from the beginning, because it was very, very interesting. All those symptoms of menopause, andropause can be avoided, and not just avoided, but resolved. Yeah. You don't need to feel those hot flashes or none of those, or the lack of energy, in other words. So it's all in here, in your body, the solution. Thank you, Gaia. Hope to see you very, very soon.
Thank you, everyone.
You all have a great evening. Bye-bye.